All right, I'm back, continuing this horrific story that has been all over media ever since last night, so I'm sure you're familiar with it, about the total use of agencies of government to do exactly what Trump wanted, not what the American people want, what the Constitution requires or what the law requires, but what this filthy Nazi son of a bitch, Donald Trump, this Christian fascist bastard, what he wanted. Now, getting back to it, in February of 2020, William Barr, the most corrupt corrupt attorney general ever, he placed a prosecutor from New Jersey, a guy named Osmar Benvenuto, into the National Security Division. He just took this prosecutor. Now, Benvenuto's background was in gang prosecutions and healthcare fraud prosecutions. Nothing whatsoever about national security issues. Now, Benvenuto has also declined to comment. But his appointment was in keeping with William Barr's desire to keep matters of great interest to the Orange Vomit in the hands of a small circle of trusted aides and officials. So William Barr wouldn't even trust other people in the Justice Department. He knew how filthy and fucked up and corrupt it had become under the Orange Vomit and under him and under Jeff Sessions. So he brings in this guy from an entirely different area of prosecution from New Jersey. So with Benvenuto then involved in the leak inquiries, the FBI questioned a guy named Michael Behar, a former House Intelligence Committee staff member who had gone into private practice in May of 2017. And that interview, conducted in late spring last year, 2020, didn't yield evidence of anything. There never was any there. Just like that filthy Jim Jordan yesterday when there was testimony in the House, when they were going after Chris, what's his name, the head of the FBI yesterday, and Jim Jordan stated as if it were fact that the Trump campaign had been spied on by the Obama administration, none of which was true. None of it. There was no evidence in any of this shit where Trump tried to shift the focus away from the criminal activity he was involved in and try to lay it off on Joe Biden's son or the Obama administration. I mean, it's just so fucking sick. Prosecutors then redoubled their efforts under the Orange Vomit to find out who had leaked material related to the traitorous dog and disgrace to the goddamn military of the United States, that goddamn traitor Michael Flynn, this Christian fascist nutfuck who wants to go to work for Vladimir Putin, who does work for Vladimir Putin. But at the time, he was Trump's first, don't laugh, national security advisor. Jesus. So details about conversations that this traitorous piece of shit had in late 2016 with the Russian ambassador at the time. Remember him, Sergei Kislyak? Anyway, those conversations appeared in news reports in early 2017 and eventually helped get him thrown out of government and federal charges levied against him. The discussions had also been considered highly classified because the FBI had used a court-authorized secret wiretap of Sergei Kislyak to monitor them. So nothing should have gotten out to the American media and consequently the American people about the conversations between the traitorous rotten fuck Mike Flynn and the Russian ambassador, the Russian spy, Sergei Kislyak. Jesus. And then you have John Ratcliffe, the director of national intelligence, and a close suck-up to the orange vomit. He seemed to damage that leak inquiry in May of last year, 2020, when he declassified transcripts of the calls that were made between Michael Flynn and Kislyak. The authorized disclosure would have made it more difficult for prosecutors to argue that the news stories had hurt national security. Not only is Trump and everybody around him a filthy, low-level, grifting, goddamn gangster, but they're also stupid as dog shit. All of them. And then separately, one of the prosecutors, who Barr had directed to re-examine the FBI's criminal case against Flynn, that prosecutor interviewed at least one law enforcement official in the leak investigation after the transcripts were declassified, a move that a person familiar with the matter labeled, I like this term, politically fraught. Very dangerous to somebody, right? Now, let me go on here. I get so goddamn riled up about this stuff. I'm almost finished with this report in the Times. The biweekly updates on that leak investigation between top officials in the Trump crime family continued. Julie Edelstein, the deputy chief of counterintelligence and export control, and Matt Blue, the head of the department's counterterrorism section, briefed John Demers, the head of the National Security Division, and Seth Ducharme, an official in the Deputy Attorney General's office, on their progress, how far they were getting in their goddamn phony investigation. Benvenuto was involved in briefings with Mr. Barr. Now, here's the irony. These three people I just mentioned, Mr. Demers, Ms. Edelstein, and Mr. Blue, and Mr. Benvenuto, are still working at the Justice Department. Jesus Christ. Now, the upside to that is that the fact that they're still there and they still have leadership roles, you would think that will ensure that Biden's appointees, including Attorney General Merrick Garland, will get a full understanding of what these so-called investigations were all about. And there will be one more well-deserved knife in this orange vomit's chest. Jesus Christ, nothing that he came anywhere near was left uncorrupted. Nothing. Oh, my God. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.